7-figure grand from across the room. I see your patience are short with all these dancing fools. I see that you're the type of girl that likes a tattoo. I seen the way you looked at me when I came walking through. So don't hesitate, blow a single night, let it alone. And don't let the night go, now don't let it go. Don't wanna be a freak, I wanna make you scream. Come get it like a freak, take my hand, we had it till we're weak. Oh, life is like a dream, come and get it like a freak.
And we record. There we go.
My life is great, man. You need to understand. I piss excellence every morning, ain't a thing. I'm like that crack rock that you know you can't stop, even though the cops are knocking down your door.
All right, this is Mike and Kelsey with the Twisted Hour. Week number 2, show number 2 for us. And we're going to talk a little bit about who we have on the show this week.
This week we have Amanda LePore, 25-year-old Twisted Angel model in Maryland. She models and does theater and voiceovers and dog walking. So she's a jack of all trades, and she's got a lot of interesting tips for people trying to tie in doing it all.
And we have Matt Santoro, lead singer of the band Super Bob, one of my favorite bands, and they have been our featured music artist for the show. Last week we played Freak, and this week we have Best Life off of the same album. So we are going to be right back. We're going to pay some bills. Get twisted.
Hi, this is Nicolas Cage. When you're a teenager, there are a lot of things going on that can produce stress and anxiety. The pressures of school, dating, and the future in general can seem overwhelming sometimes. But there are healthy ways to deal with stress, ways to reduce it and channel your energy in positive directions. And you don't have to do it alone. The Will Rogers Institute has a free booklet with some really helpful information.
For your free copy, visit wrinstitute.org and find us on Facebook and Twitter.
All right, this is Mike and Kelsey with the Twisted Hour. We're back with Amanda LePore with the Twisted Angel. She's a model with them. She's been with them for almost 3 years now, I guess. So you've been with them for 3 years, and you're kind of a jack of all trades. You do a lot of different things. You have your modeling. You do pet sitting, because I talked to you earlier today, and you were dog walking at the time, and then obviously you do theater and stuff like that. So kind of give us a rundown of what that does with your time frame. How do you juggle all those things?
Oh my gosh! Well, it's not easy to juggle everything. So I kind of have to split up my days a little bit. So I have to do acting some days, and then other days I'll schedule a photo shoot. And then, of course, I have to take care of some puppies. So I have to fit that in, make sure they're walked, or get someone to fill in for me. Do some voiceover work as well, and do some radio. So I just kind of do a mix of everything, keep myself busy. Wouldn't have it any other way.
Well, that's quite the transition from doing pet sitting to theater. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you're fine. I just kind of wanted to know, is there like maybe one of those trades that you kind of started out with that snowballed you into the rest, or did you just kind of jump in head first to everything?
I definitely started with acting first. I've been acting since I was in elementary school, so I think it's been, I'm 25 now, so I have to calculate. It's been like 10, 15 years since I've been acting. Started modeling, I guess it was about 2014. Thought that was a good tie-in with acting. Added voiceover in around 2010 or so. I was involved with other radio endeavors, and that got me involved in more voiceover projects. And then I just added pet sitting in recently to help pay some bills. So, figure it's a good way of combining everything. So,
that's really a wide spectrum there, because you go from modeling to doing voiceovers to doing theater. Well, actually starting off with theater and then modeling and voiceover stuff, and then there's pet sitting. That just it's not even really kind of related unless you're.
If I modeled with the pets, then it would be.
Oh,
I
well,
wish.
yeah, yeah.
That's my goal. I need a photographer that wants to take pictures of me with pets. I would do that in a heartbeat.
I think Kelsey does some theater
it's
too.
definitely
So.
a really busy schedule. But
Oh, yeah.
one thing with performers in really any aspect, dance, modeling, theater, you can get paid really well professionally, but it's never steady work. You know, your contract is only for so long. So keeping her schedule, you know, kind of tight and bit like that kind of makes her like professional career path a little more stable financially, which is smart and what a lot of young women don't know how to do when they go into a profession like this.
Exactly. It's very tough being a freelancer. A lot of my friends do modeling on the side, but they're not willing to give up their full-time jobs because they want that steady income. They love modeling, they love acting, but it's not giving them the paycheck they want, and they're not willing to take that risk.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess the big thing, I mean, when I first met you was actually down at the Graffiti Warehouse, and that was, that wasn't really a pinup event, but you kind of had a pinup outfit, and you do a lot of pinup work. That's what you concentrate on, correct?
Yeah, a mix of pinup and work like that. I think I don't have the stereotypical Barbie doll beauty look. I have like a very interesting style. People have told me that I do better with like the vintage look and pinup style towards.
Okay. Now that's.
No, I know exactly what you mean. I mean, nobody else can see us, but I can see you, and we have a similar look. It's yeah, I ran into a lot of the same things, but just not being the stereotypical, you know, fit in the box for certain jobs.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to really find your niche and stick with it.
Yeah, that's what I've been working on. It's always tough because people want you to fit the certain mold, and if you don't work for that photographer, you have to find somebody else that you work for, and it depends on people's taste or what vision they have.
Now, do you find it difficult to find a photographer at times based on what your needs are? Like, you know, some photographers don't do this or they don't do that or whatever. I always felt, at least from my perspective as a photographer, that I wanted to be able to show that I had some versatility. And I think that I try to translate that, you know, to the models that I work with, you know, just that it's very important to you show some versatility and whatnot, because that way you have a variety of things that you can do, and it also increases your chances for, you know, or opportunities, I guess, if you will, for what you're doing.
Oh yeah, definitely being versatile helps. I know I've seen some photographers work that all looks the same. They have their great style, and that's what people know them as. But then they only want to work with models that fit that.
Right.
So it depends on what people are going for, really. I'm not going to tell somebody how to do their art. So if I'm not for them, then I'll just find somebody else who will use me.
Okay, well, what are
that sounds bad, but you know what I mean.
All right, so what are some of the things you're working on now as far as your theater projects, and what kind of modeling things do you have going on now? Do you have any big projects going on in either area?
So right now, most of my time is being spent rehearsing for a musical. We're doing a 9 to 5 musical. Everybody knows it because it's Dolly Parton's thing. That's on 9 to 5. Yep. Everybody knows that. Yep. So definitely keeping me busy. We're rehearsing 4 days a week. We open July 6th.
Oh, wow.
Down in Southern Maryland here.
Oh, wow.
So, yep, that's taking up a lot of my time.
Yeah, I could do the part of Dabney Coleman because I don't have that much hair, so I could do that. They didn't
How
call
long
me.
does the show run? The show run?
Yeah, they didn't call me
It's
for that. I
3
feel
weekends.
I'm a little disappointed they didn't call me for that one. I could have done Dabney Coleman, you know. So
You'd have to be able to come to Southern Maryland 4 times a week.
no, we'd
I think you're a
probably
bit too busy.
just go down and stay with Bree's family for the week and do it that way. So probably do it that way. So actually in that original movie there was you know, the stars were obviously Dabney Coleman, and then as you stated, Dolly Parton and Lily Tomlin, Who was the third girl that was in there? Who was the third actress?
Oh man, what? I'm blanking on her name right now. I just watched the movie the other night too. big name actress. She was super talented, and I'm blanking on her name.
Oh, you're fired. You just got kicked off the theater tour now.
I know.
But she's kind of the forgotten one because everybody recognizes...
Jane Fonda, that's who it was.
Yeah, so I mean,
Thank you.
It's one of
the day.
Yeah, way to go. Google that one, Kelsey. Way to go.
Was it that obvious?
Oh yeah, I saw you furiously looking at your phone there to Google it and find out who it was. But I mean, and that's horrible because a lot of people don't associate Jane Fonda with that movie. They associate Lily Tomlin and Dolly Parton and Dabney Coleman, but Jane Fonda, at least, from people that I talk to, they just don't really think of her. She's not really mentioned because she's done all this other stuff that people just don't really, pay much attention, or they don't pay much attention to her being in 9 to 5. But,
Oh yeah.
Well, it's like people that constantly forget Sarah Jessica Parker is in Hocus Pocus because they saw Hocus Pocus way before they knew who she was.
Right.
Oh, that's true. Didn't even think of that. Yeah.
Well, Jane Fonda was in a lot of stuff, prior to 9 to 5, and then she was in stuff after that too. But it was not what you would have considered. I mean, it was an 80s movie, so I mean, it's kind of hard to look at it from the perspective that they were all, big movie stars at the time. I mean, Jane Fonda technically probably was the biggest movie star of any of them, but she's the one that's obviously more often forgotten because Lily Tomlin was known for her stand-up comedy. Dabney Coleman was always one of those supporting actors that was pretty popular during that time, and of course Dolly Parton, country singer, she was a big star in her own right. So, but she didn't do a lot of acting. I mean, I remember she did a movie with Burt Reynolds. She did and then she did 9 to 5, and I think she may have done a couple more, but I couldn't even tell you what those ones were. I mean, the one she did with...
Yeah, I don't think she's much of an actress.
Yeah, the one she did with Burt Reynolds, the one she did with Burt Reynolds, I think it was Best Little Whorehouse in Texas or something like that. So, it was one of those.
Funny enough, that's the next musical this theater is doing that I work with.
Oh well,
so that'll be next. I think next summer.
So somebody's on a Dolly Parton kick at the theater.
I'm thinking so.
Now, Kelsey, you do theater.
Now.
Yeah, Kelsey does some theater and ballet. Well, when she's not busy, tearing her meniscus, she's doing ballet and she's done theater. What kind of productions have you done, Kelsey?
Theater, I've done more choreography for shows than I have acting in them.
Oh, okay.
I acted. Most of my theater was when I was younger, before I got my tattoos. That was actually the next thing I was going to bring up with Amanda, is that it's not necessarily uncommon for models to also act or dance or sing, but for alternative models, there isn't a very big welcoming space for them with a lot of musicals or theater, or I mean, I just haven't met a lot of alternative models that have gotten in the door like with acting and theater, and I think that's really, really great. Do you have any tips? Or I mean, because I'd love to start going to auditions, but I just don't really know how to even take the first step just looking like I do.
So my tips with that, I know I'm not as alternative as some of our other models in Twisted Angels. I'm working on it, but if you have tattoos and everything, if they could be covered up, then you could show that you're more marketable, because not every role needs someone who's fully tatted up or with a bunch of piercings. Every time I'm in a show, I have to take out my belly button ring, I have to take out my nose piercing, and I just have to change my look. Yeah. So it's just, you kind of, like, this show takes place in 1979. There's women in the workforce, they're working as secretaries. They're not going to have nose piercings and tattoos and stuff. So I'm going to have to cover up. I mean, I only have a baby tattoo on my wrist, but I mean, I'll have to cover that up. I have to take out my piercings, do the specific hair and makeup that they want. I can't have the crazy colors in it. At one point I had purple in my hair, but I had to let that fade. So it's it depends if you're willing to change your look for a certain role.
You have to be accepting of, their director, producer, their artistic vision of it too. You have to look at it, artist to artist. And a lot of people aren't willing to. They want to be in the show with hot pink hair, and they don't. God, I'm getting tongue-tied here. You get what I'm saying, though, right?
Yeah. They just want to go in and they want to have their pink hair and they don't want to change.
Yeah, you have to play ball. You've got to, participate, do your part, pay your dues.
Right, and that is something that we've run into, even with the Twisted Angels. I mean, being an alternative model, as you stated, Amanda, with your hair colors and whatnot, we've had issues where we had people from TV shows, they liked the look of a model that we had, and they casted her for a TV show, and prior to the show, when they did cast her, she had multicolored hair, and then the week of or the week before she was supposed to be going up to New York to film for the show, she got her hair colored bright red. I mean, she completely eliminated all the multicolors and whatnot that she had going on. She went bright red, and she showed up at the casting with this bright red hair. And they were like, "Well, that's not what we cast you with. We cast you with, your multicolored hair. You didn't tell us you got your hair colored, and sorry, we already have a redhead. Sorry you made the trip, but we can't work with you." So she drove, from South Central Pennsylvania all the way to New York, or whatnot, to find out that she couldn't do it. So I mean, it's unfortunate. And then another girl, she changed her hair. She was a brunette, and she went blonde. And but she didn't actually make the trip. She actually just, I guess for whatever reason, she let me know, I think, or something like that. She let them know, and they're like, "Well, you should have asked us beforehand." So, one of those things. Yeah. Stuff like that happens. But yeah, you've like Kelsey said, you got to kind of play ball. If they have certain expectations and whatnot, have to kind of let. They have to kind of let you know.
A good tip for any performers out there, something I personally do is I put on my resume and headshot, I put that I'm willing to change hair colors or hairstyles. Yeah. Willing to cover tattoos. So they know I'm not going to be stubborn about my ink. They know if my hair is a different color, I will gladly dye it back. If they don't like my hair at all, I'll shave it. You can put your comfort with certain things like that on your resume, and it might be something they don't think to ask, but could, set you apart from another person.
Exactly. If they like your look, but if it's something easy to change, if you're willing to do it, then they'll choose you. I mean, I feel bad for the people that dyed their hair too, but being in acting as long as I have now, I've learned from the beginning that if you have a director or even someone casting you, whoever it is, telling you, like when they put you in, they want you to look exactly they cast you as. So say otherwise, or you ask, "Hey, can I dye my hair, get my septum pierced or something?" You have to communicate with them. If you just show up looking completely different, they're going to find somebody else.
You're expected to look how, your headshot or your audition, how you were then, because that's what they're expecting to come back.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, whatever the last look is that you had, whether you went to the casting call and you interviewed or whatnot, I mean, they're going, as Kelsey said, they're going on what they saw you as last. You show up with a completely different look, it kind of throws them a curveball, and they're like, "Wait a minute."
Yeah, they don't know you.
Yeah.
Most of the time, they don't know who you are. The only impression they have is either from a piece of paper, from your headshot, or they see you in an audition, and maybe they don't know. Sometimes it's even iffy if you show up and your hair is just straight when it's normally curly. So usually in a headshot, they want you to see how your hair naturally is. Now, I have to be careful because my headshot is straight hair, but I can have, everyone else can't see it, but you guys can. I can have crazy, mop of hair. So I have to
My hair is identical to yours. I swear, exact same type of wave and curl. And it's funny, grew up in Alding, Mom would say that same thing to me. And she'd say, no, we're not straightening your hair for your headshots. It's naturally curly. You got to leave it like that. And when you grow up with curly hair, you never want curly hair. So I always felt like my hair was ugly. But you also, over-edited headshots are a big issue because your picture might look fantastic, but if it doesn't really look like you, they're not going to remember you as the person in relation to you as a headshot.
Oh,
You want to look like you look.
That's a big thing now with all the social media, Instagram, and the filters. People sometimes will submit photos that has all these crazy filters on it, and it just completely, changes the way you look. So it's tough. But I try to, explain to, my friends and stuff who are new actors, and, you gotta look like you. You don't even want to pile on a ton of makeup if it's going to change how you look. If you contour your face a lot, maybe it'll make you just look different. So
well, yeah, that's really very true.
And theater and musical wise, I mean, how many characters are are written as drop dead gorgeous Hollywood, perfection? Almost none of them.
Yeah.
So you want to look like a human being or a normal average Joe that would be taking the subway in, 42nd Street.
Yeah.
Not
and I mean, there's always wigs and stuff too, so.
Yeah.
If you need to be the blonde bombshell like Marilyn Monroe or something, you can doll yourself up like that, but it's only after the director casts you and tells you, oh, I need you to look like this.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know a lot of the stuff that we
Mike's
get.
Mike's been quiet now.
No, a lot of the stuff that we see that come across as casting calls and stuff like that, they usually have a list of the different roles that are going to be played. They'll tell you, what the age range is or something like that, and that kind of thing, what they're expecting. And it's funny you mentioned about the submission of images with Instagram filters and everything else. Part of what it used to be, 20 years ago, and before then, obviously, when you sent your stuff out for casting calls or to agencies and stuff like that, they were all hard copies. So you would send them a comp card or whatever. So, your images, and even at that point in time, there wasn't that much Photoshop. So they do like it to look, they don't mind some retouching, but they do want it in moderation. Because as you stated, Kelsey, and Amanda both, when you show up, if you sent them a picture ahead of time of you and it's heavily edited, and then you show up and you don't look anything like your image, then that becomes a problem because they may have called you based on seeing that image. So what we do really, especially with the Twisted Angels and stuff now with the submissions, when people contact us, they're interested or whatever, we kind of go through the process of the old school submissions. Send us 3 to 5 images, at least one headshot, 1 3/4, 1 full length. That's kind of getting back to the old school stuff with that, and I think I've seen some other agencies and stuff that are starting to adopt that same policy, because they need to kind of get back to basics a little bit with some of that stuff. So that's really important. Now, what do you have? Now, you said you've got you're doing the 9 to 5 now. You have Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. That's on your theater side. What do you have going on modeling wise right now?
So modeling, I did a couple shoots over the past few months. I did a boudoir shoot for a photographer who is not looking, they're starting to branch out into boudoir, so they want to remain anonymous right now. But I traveled to northern Maryland and did a photo shoot with another photographer. We met up in an area that was middle. So right now I haven't done as much modeling. I'm trying to get some free time, but since I'm in middle of nowhere, southern Maryland, it usually involves me traveling. And if I'm rehearsing 4 days a week, it doesn't leave me a lot of time to do that.
Eat, sleep, and shower.
Yeah, pretty much. That's been my life. Eat, sleep, shower, rehearse, repeat. So I'm trying trying to get back into it, but I know I have fans on my fan page that keep messaging, "Where are your new photos? We miss them." So I have to start sharing some work that I haven't shared yet. So I'll be doing that, but need to start booking things with more photographers soon.
All right, we're going to cut away and pay some bills, and we'll be right back. This is the Twisted Hour with Mike and Kelsey. We have Amanda. We'll be right back with Amanda.
More than 2 million Americans have served in Iraq and Afghanistan, and the Department of Veterans Affairs reports that approximately 11 to 20% of those warriors may have experienced symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. As we recognize PTSD Awareness Month, Real Warriors campaign volunteer Meg Mitchum, a former Army combat medic who served in Iraq, encourages fellow warriors to reach out when they need help.
The hardest step was admitting that I needed help coping with PTSD. Once I did, my command and unit fully supported me, and I was able to get the care I needed. Getting support helped me succeed in the military and now in my civilian career.
If you or a loved one is coping with an invisible wound, resources are available and they work. For more information, visit the Real Warriors campaign at realwarriors.net or call 866-966-1020.
Hi, this is Nicolas Cage. When you're a teenager, there are a lot of things going on that can produce stress and anxiety. The pressures of school, dating, and the future in general can seem overwhelming sometimes. But there are healthy ways to deal with stress, ways to reduce it and channel your energy in positive directions. And you don't have to do it alone. The Will Rogers Institute has a free booklet with some really helpful information.
For your free copy, visit wrinstitute.org and find us on Facebook and Twitter.
And we're back with Amanda LePore, the Twisted Angel. She's been talking about theater, modeling, and the one thing we didn't get into, what got you hooked up with pet sitting? What started that? Because like I said before, that's like a big jump from, modeling and theater, and then there's pet sitting.
So pet sitting, I've always done on and off just for neighbors and things. I love animals. I've always had some sort of pet growing up. So I found there's a few websites that do it, and I guess I could promote one of them. I'll say that I'm on Rover.com. Love them. I signed up with them about a year ago. Maybe they'll give me special promotion thing. I don't know. But I signed up with them about a year ago and got my first client through them. Then because I was booking with more people, I started getting viewed more, and now I have 20-something reviews. I'm getting booked almost every day with at least one dog walk or a house sitting job or something like that. So it's definitely keeping me busy. So it's just something that I think a few friends of mine had signed up for it, and they were like, "You should try this out if you're looking for some extra money." And I was like, okay, because I didn't want to try to drive for those companies or anything, so I was always worried about safety. And I didn't feel like picking up a part-time job. I know people are waitressing and stuff like that, and I know I have so many friends who serve and everything, but it's a tough business to be in, and it's not always as flexible as people expect it to be. Right. So I can't go to an audition last minute and can't say "Oh, sorry, whatever restaurant I'm working at, I can't work tonight. You're just down a server."
Yeah.
Right. And when you pack your schedule, like we were talking earlier, like you do, Amanda, as far as, other jobs that you've got to do throughout the day or the week, you don't want something that's going to emotionally or mentally drain you to a point where you've got nothing left to give for your second or third job of the day or the next morning. Walking dogs or taking care of, that stuff sounds like almost therapeutic.
Yeah, I'm living the dream right now. I love doing it. I got to hang out with 3 dogs today, even though it was real feel of 101 outside. So we were doing shorter walks today, but I had a lot of puppy cuddles, even got to cuddle a cat today. And it's different because I love my own pets. They're obviously the ones that I'm more attached to. But it's cool seeing other people's animals and then getting attached to them. The only downside is when I live in a military community, so a lot of people move away with them. I can't kidnap them. So that's the only downside, really, is having to say goodbye to them when it's time to go.
All right, well, we're gonna wrap things up. You know, Amanda, with all your acting and everything like that, do you want to let everybody know what the best way to reach you? Give them your Instagram and give them your best way to reach you.
So my Instagram is at MSAMANDALEPORE. And if you type that into Google, you should be able to find all my other social media pages. I'm on Facebook and Twitter, and I have a website at missamandalapore.com. So just type that in. Should be able to find everything. There's even a Tumblr that I don't use as much, but I do share some photos on there. So if you're only on Tumblr, you can find me there too.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know a lot of people that really utilize Tumblr as much as they used to. I mean, Instagram's the big one, obviously, right now. You know, and then, of course, there's the whole Snapchat thing. And even Twitter's not... You know, there's a lot of people that do Twitter, especially a lot of TV shows and stuff like that. But there's not a lot that, you know, I don't, at least from our perspective, not a lot of models and photographers that jump on Twitter much. I mean, I have a Twitter, but,
yeah,
you know, I don't really use it that much other than to share stuff that I'm doing, you know, just because it's linked up, but that's it. I rarely get on there and jump around.
I think mostly I use my Instagram. That's where I'll be sharing photos and things. And then it syncs up with my Facebook page, which... Right. Has the most amount of followers, which is why I still use Facebook as well.
Right.
Then, there's some other random social media accounts just to grab those few extra people that haven't jumped on the Instagram bandwagon yet. So,
all right, well, Amanda,
I'm marking myself where I can.
All right, well, Amanda, we want to thank you for joining the show, and we'll see you soon. Because you know, when I'm not available, you're going to be stepping in to help out. You're going to be stepping in to help out with some of the host duties with Kelsey, so we appreciate that. So you guys have a great day. And we're going to cut away here. We're going to pay some bills, so we're going to be back with Matt from Super Bob.
Hi, this is Nicolas Cage. When you're a teenager, there are a lot of things going on that can produce stress and anxiety. The pressures of school, dating, and the future in general can seem overwhelming sometimes. But there are healthy ways to deal with stress. Ways to reduce it and channel your energy in positive directions, and you don't have to do it alone. The Will Rogers Institute has a free booklet with some really helpful information.
For your free copy, visit WRInstitute.org and find us on Facebook and Twitter.
More than 2 million Americans have served in Iraq and Afghanistan, and the Department of Veterans Affairs reports that approximately 11 to 20% of those warriors may have experienced symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. As we recognize PTSD Awareness Month, Real Warriors campaign volunteer Meg Mitchum, a former Army combat medic who served in Iraq, encourages fellow warriors to reach out when they need help.
The hardest step was admitting that I needed help coping with PTSD. Once I did, my command and unit fully supported me, and I was able to get the care I needed. Getting support helped me succeed in the military and now in my civilian career.
If you or a loved one is coping with an invisible wound, resources are available and they work. For more information, visit the Real Warriors campaign at realwarriors.net or call 866-966-1020.
All right, this is Mike and Kelsey with the Twisted Hour. We're back with Matt from Super Bob. Personally, one of my favorite bands. I've been aware of them since about 2013, 2014. They've been around for a lot longer than that, and in different variations and whatnot. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing with your schedule now, Matt. You guys are currently on tour now, correct?
Well, at this very moment, I am sitting in Florida at home. I leave Thursday. We're playing Friday in Virginia, Saturday in Tennessee, Sunday in Tennessee. Off Monday, Tuesday, play Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I believe all in Tennessee.
Oh, wow.
But I'm not looking at the schedule, so I could be completely wrong there.
Now we do want to mention that you guys.
So for some.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kelsey. Go ahead.
I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I was going to say, I mean, you guys have been really busy. As long as I've known, you guys are like constantly on the road, working hard and whatnot. Obviously, different variations. Who's in the band now?
We are a three-piece band. We've been a three-piece band for the last 4 years. The previous 3 years and 6 months, it was myself singing, Adam playing guitar, and Drew on the drums. Drew left about 4.5 months ago, and we added a new member. Her name is Michelle Anthony.
Gotcha. Now, Kelsey's a new fan, so I'll let her ask you a couple questions now.
I am. So, as far as having a girl included in the band now, I know, you said it wasn't a factor for you guys, but do you notice any different treatment or behavior of people when you go to shows over, the difference between a female or a male drummer?
Absolutely. I have never seen sound guys talk to a drummer so much in my life. We started as a four-piece. We used to have a guy named Mike. Drew joined with us after we'd been playing about a year. Then Drew went from drums to bass when Chris came on drums. Drew went back to drums. So I have noticed a lot of differences with having a female with other people's reactions. Sound guys love to talk to her. Other drummers are absolutely dumbfounded that a girl can play the drums better than they can. And some of them seem to dislike her for it, and some of them are absolutely enamored by her and follow her around like puppy dogs. So it's pretty cool to watch. Luckily we haven't had anybody creeping too hard, but she definitely gets different kinds of friend requests and messages than Adam and I do on Facebook. So it's interesting.
I'll bet.
Does it change the energy on stage at all? Is it like a little different, or does it just kind of feel, I don't know, I guess the same as, any other time?
Every time you add a new personality to the stage, it changes the feel of it just because, everybody has their own energy they bring with them. She, 5 months ago, she was working a 9-to-5 job, kind of resolved to the fact that she was never going to be playing music professionally. And then when she joined the band, we said, hey, we play 250 days a year. Here's the money you're going to make, a projection of the income we have on the schedule. You can go ahead and quit your job. So she has brought just a fresh, happy energy to stage. Because not lots of musicians get the chance to play full time, and she didn't think she was going to ever get that opportunity. So when we added her, she has been just a ball of happiness on stage, which is awesome. It's kind of rejuvenating for Adam and I to be on stage with somebody that is that new to and that's that happy to be there.
Yeah, it can be contagious.
Yes, it can.
Well, yeah, it's like she kind of brought in and kind of infused some new energy and whatnot in the band, and sometimes you need that. I mean, I was in a band way back when, but yeah, every time there's like something new going on with the band, whether it be just a new producer or a new band member or something like that, it's like something a little bit fresh and whatnot with the band. Now, you said you and Adam have been together pretty much from the very beginning. And Drew came in about a year later and whatnot. Now, Drew, he's got a little one on the way, correct? So that's one of the reasons why he stepped away from the band. So he wanted to be close to home and whatnot. And I've had the opportunity to photograph you guys several times, and it's all been with Drew there and with Chris, the drummer, there for a while. I got to photograph you guys with him. So now, what would you say? And again, with following up on Kelsey's statement, it's different with the way people are treating you and stuff like that. So there's obviously some jealousy there and some hey, that's pretty cool. But the best part is that you don't seem to really miss a beat. You guys kind of jump out there and still have the same fun and energy when you get out there. And you mentioned that she got a chance to leave her day job. What were you guys doing? What were you and Adam and what were you guys doing before you decided, okay, well, this is going to be our full-time gig? What were you guys doing before that?
Well, Adam and I haven't had to work a day in about 7 years. But previous to being full-time musicians, Adam was a computer network engineer.
Oh, wow.
He worked in a data center, and we lived in Northern Virginia at the time. He worked in a data center, I painted houses for a living, and Michelle 5 months ago was driving a street sweeper.
Oh, wow.
In like in a island neighborhood down in Savannah, Georgia.
Oh, wow. So how did you ever meet Michelle? Yeah. She's from Georgia, and you said you're in Florida now, and how did you guys even meet her?
She was in a band in Savannah, Georgia, that we played with 6 or 7 years ago, a handful of times. And when you see her play, you'll realize why we remembered her for all those years. So when we started looking for a drummer, we had about 6 months' notice. I spent 3 months posting ads on Craigslist in basically every major city from Fayetteville, North Carolina to Miami, Florida, because I live in St. Pete, Florida, and Adam lives in Charleston, South Carolina. So we were looking for somebody kind of between us.
Right, right.
I didn't find anybody I liked. I went through probably about 300 emails and text messages of drummers that I just, it's not about just playing about the drums. It's about finding somebody that you can, spend 200 nights in a hotel room with and,
right.
thousands of hours in the van and hundreds of thousands of miles. So we were being really picky. We weren't going to add anybody that we weren't completely happy with. So after a couple of months of that, I said, Adam, I think we need to post it on Facebook because there's people out there that aren't seeing this, and we're not going to find the person we need unless we really put it out there. So we went ahead and posted it from Facebook. The second day, about 11:30 at night, I'm sitting on the couch. Adam calls me, and he said, hey, do you remember the female drummer from Savannah? And before he could finish the sentence, I said, yes, I remember her. He said, somebody just commented her name. I hope she hits us up. So I got on Facebook, and I sent her a message, and I said, hey, we've been looking for a drummer. Somebody tagged you. We were wondering if you're playing with anybody. And she said, I'm kind of in a cover thing right now, and I'm not really happy with it. I would love to audition. So we set up an audition. Halfway through the first practice, Adam looked at me, gave me the look, and we offered her the job right there on the spot. She had 5 practices, and then she was with us full-time a week and a half later.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
So there was a bit of a creative epiphany there then.
Well, Adam and I have spent so much time together that, we can communicate through looks and body language most of the time.
Yeah.
So I knew what he was thinking. Basically, any drummer can learn to play our music. We're not Slipknot, we're not Tool. If you're a good drummer, you can play our stuff. The most important thing to us was somebody that could stay on the click track, because we play everything. We use a lot of electronics, so every song is on its own individual click track. And she didn't go off of it not once. She didn't push, she didn't pull, she was right on the click. So we knew, obviously we knew adding a female to the band, even though it's not a thing for us, we knew it was going to add, just a different fold in there that would get people excited. So we were really excited about the opportunity. So when she came in and didn't go off the click, we wanted her in the band.
Awesome. Now, are you guys writing music with her now? Do you guys have music coming out with her now, or you guys are just...
Yes. We are almost done with a new full-length record.
Uh-huh.
We've been working on it with Drew, and Michelle came in the last time we went up north to play. She went in the studio with us, and it went well. She fit into the writing process really well. We write a little bit differently than a lot of bands. We do almost all of our pre-production on the road in hotel rooms, and then we basically piece together a song and do a bulk of the writing in studio. And that can be very difficult. Writing with a new member can either help you or it can hurt you. And her personality fit in perfectly. She loves everything. Adam and I don't love everything, so it was nice to have somebody in the studio that liked everything you wrote, even though I knew when it sucked,
Right.
She still liked it.
Yeah, now tell us a little bit about your discography, I guess, if you will. How many albums do you guys have out now?
We have 4 full-length records, and we're about to release our 5th. We're about 3/4 of the way done with it, and as you and I have talked about, we're in the process of trying to put together some music videos so we can get some of this new music out.
Right. Now we just posted on our Facebook page the new video that just came out, Great Big World. We posted that up on the Facebook page for you. So
cool.
So that was cool. And the one thing that I found with you guys is there's just so much energy. I mean, the last time I saw you guys was actually at the Morningstar Festival last year in Harrisburg. And there were all these bands all day. And you guys were there the whole time. And one of the things that I really noticed about you guys, you're there, you're kind of milling around, but you kind of stick around, you watch the other bands and stuff. You're there as long as everybody else is. And you were the headliner. Yep. You got up there and you had a crap ton of energy and whatnot. It was like you could tell the whole room. There was, people have been there all day. They're exhausted, they're tired or whatever. But when you guys got on stage, you energized the whole crowd. And that's the one thing I've really noticed about you guys when I go to see you guys, is that you're supportive of the bands that play with you. But then, when you get up on stage, it's like the energy level it goes to a whole new level at that point. And that's one of the things I really like about you guys.
Yeah, we're kind of old school where we like to be there for the show. I like to see at least part of every band we play with. We definitely shout out every single band, whether they leave or not. I know that day most of the bands were gone by the time we played, which is classless, but it is what it is. That's how bands are nowadays.
Yeah.
And when we get on stage, positive energy is contagious. If we're having fun up there, people are going to have fun. And if the people aren't having fun, then fuck them, because we're having fun, so I don't care anyway. So that's kind of my theory.
Well, there you go. As long as you're having a good time, it doesn't really matter at that point. So, but
no, it doesn't, because you're having fun, so nobody's going to affect you.
Do you guys have any pre-show rituals, or anybody have any superstitious good luck charms? I don't know, anything along those lines?
Oh, that's a good one.
There's a lot of stretching before we play, because the last thing you want to do is pull a muscle on stage. But we're not real weird. Adam likes to get fired up. I like to walk on stage basically in the same mood that I've been on. I have a theory that a raised heart rate is bad for singing. So I basically just walk on stage as I am. Adam gets kicked off at me sometimes because I don't get all fired up. But, Adam and I have been on stage probably upwards of 2,000 times together. So, not to say that it's, like any day at work, but, it's my job. It's my responsibility to make sure that I'm getting on stage being the best I can. So I stretch, I warm up. I need about an hour to warm up and stretch, but beyond that, we don't have any weird shit that we do like a lot of bands. We don't huddle up and high five and any of that crap.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I'm friends with Steve Whiteman from Kix. I've known him for many years, and I know one of his pre-show rituals. He'll actually be like in the hotel room, and so he doesn't disturb the people in the other rooms around him. He'll sit there and he'll be screaming into a towel, like a balled up towel in front of his mouth, and he does that. So I always thought that was weird. I don't know. I never did that, but I just thought it was weird that he did that. So, but. Yeah, so and some bands are like that. They're really weird. They do the huddle up thing, and it's not that it's weird. It's just whatever works for you to get you up on stage and whatnot. So, and I think that at least
the screaming into a towel, if you're gonna sing professionally, you have to warm up. You have to cool down. It takes a toll on your voice.
Yeah, it does.
I know a lot of guys have had vocal problems, and I know a lot of guys don't believe in vocal problems, but the reality is lots of people hurt themselves singing. I don't think that anybody is supposed to sing 250 days a year. So, if I don't, it takes me 45 minutes to an hour just to get my voice ready. And, our situation, like you said, I'm the merch guy. We're in the club, so a lot of the time I'm standing behind the merch table, stretching, warming up my voice. I'll hum, and I will flat out sing full volume. I usually do it into a water bottle because it seems to cut the sound way down. But you got to do what you got to do to get that voice ready. Otherwise, you're fucked.
Oh yeah.
I understand completely. I'm a professionally trained ballet and contemporary dancer, so I've got my own stretch routine. things like that I have to do before I go out so I don't pull a muscle or injure myself or pass out. And I know for me, even though I've been dancing, for 20 some years, I still get the same kind of jittery nerves right before I go on. Have those subsided for you, or do you still get those too?
Adam gets mad at me because I basically the same way I wake up in the hotel when I'm drinking coffee is the same attitude I have walking on stage, is the same attitude I have standing against the table, behind the merch table. I don't really, I am who I am, and I'm basically that way on stage, off stage, walking on stage in front of 10 people, walking on stage in front of 3,000 people. I kind of am what I am. If my heart rate goes up, then there's something really wrong going on. So I don't get fired up, but Adam does get fired up. Bigger the crowd, more fired up he has. And he'll get annoyed at me, side stage when we're getting ready to go on with their announcement us. He'll be literally yelling fired up in my face. And, I'm just...
Yeah, because he wants you on his same, energy, but people cope with those things differently.
They do.
Yeah.
And that's true. I mean, every time I talk to you, Matt, you're always really kind of laid back and everything. So it's fun. It's kind of, I don't know if it's funny, but it's really kind of cool to see how, this really laid back guy is over at the merch table. You're always talking to people coming up to you and everything like that. Very, very cool, very approachable and everything. And as you know, there's a lot of bands out there that kind of try to put on that rock star status thing where they're like, I'm a little too good to talk to you. I'm too busy to talk to you right now. But you always make an effort to talk to everybody who comes up.
Bougie.
Yeah, I know. And you...
I'll talk to anybody.
Yeah, and then...
Anybody, anytime, anywhere. I'm down.
Yeah, and then you get up on stage, it's like it kicks it up a notch. You're like, well, that's just the dude that was back there at the merch table. And he was pretty cool, laid back, and this guy's jumping around all over the stage. It's crazy, but it's awesome. And you can tell you guys really enjoy what you do. I mean, it may be a job, but at least, from my perspective, and I'm sure from Kelsey's, if it's something you really enjoy doing, you love doing it, it's not really a job. I mean, it's a job, yeah, it pays the bills, but at the end of the day, it's something you enjoy doing, and you do it all the time. So it's something you don't look at it, as a normal 9 to 5 thing.
Yeah, and that approachability and that, commitment is what really separates, a true artist, In the dance world, I know there's a lot of really stuck-up dancers that if somebody less experienced, asked them advice or how to do a certain step, they'd turn their nose up at them. And then you have the people that are, even more talented than the snooty person who will take an hour out of their day to help someone learn and grow because that person wants to improve. And I think contributing to the, soon to be future generations of musicians and dancers, I think it's important to share and, grow together.
No, I completely agree with that. One of my biggest frustrations as a musician is that, there is, even though we're a full-time band, we're out there touring all the time, and we do well in 3/4 of the country, there is, the guys on that next step above us are completely inaccessible. You can't, there's a separation between a lot of musicians and other musicians or musicians below them, and a lot of the attitude you get from musicians a lot of the time is they will only treat somebody well if they think that person can do something for them. And it is a serious frustration in my world because, I'll talk to anybody anytime. I can't tell you how many times I've sat there and talked to a guy and then, the second we get on stage, they're out, So It is what it is. I don't fault guys for it, It's life.
Yeah, there's a separation between people that are, invested or people that are in it for the lifestyle as opposed to the people in it for the journey or the art along the way.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I mean, I feel like we are very, very lucky to do what we want to do, how we want to do it. We're not on a label. We don't have anybody telling us what we have to do. We basically we play the shows we want to play, we go where we want to go, and if not, we don't. Fuck it.
Now, has that been kind of your goal, rather than trying to get on a big label or anything like that? I mean, labels have changed a lot in the last, 20, 25 years, but, is it something that you remain independent because that's what you want to do? You're not looking for that big label. You want to do, like you said, you want to be able to play where you want to play, when you want to play it, and not get forced into doing something you don't want to do.
I would do things I don't want to do if there was other compensation. Not saying that I would completely, sell myself, but we're not anti-record label. A lot of people think we are. We are just anti the current type of record deals that are being offered to musicians. We're at a point in our lives where we make enough money to live lives we want to live. If we could add a label and they could help us to live better lives, and we didn't have to completely sacrifice who we are and write songs about strippers and cocaine like everybody else, then we do it. I'm not anti-label. I'm just anti-lack of originality, basically. If we could find a label that believed in our weirdness, we would sign a record deal if they could help us. But we're not going to go sign a deal with somebody that wants to turn us into a regular old rock and roll band.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, when you talk
do you guys have?
Oh, sorry. when you
I made you both talk at the same time.
Yeah. That happens a lot. When you talk about the different songs and stuff that you're writing, like the strippers and cocaine and a lot of stuff. I know when late '80s, early '90s, when I was playing and whatnot, it was something where a lot of it was, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and then you had to throw in your ballad in there, and that was the thing to do. And some of those bands are starting to come back now. Who were the bands that you would call your influences? Some of the bands that you said, "Hey, this is what got me into music. This is what got me interested in being a musician and doing what I do now."
To be completely honest with you, that's a question that people ask me a lot of the time.
Of course.
And I'll be completely honest. I was not a musician growing up. I did not listen to rock and roll music. I listened basically only to rap music until I met Adam when we were about 15 years old. Adam, being a guitarist, has been playing his whole life, and he grew up, listening to probably a lot of those same bands you did. And I was never going to be a musician. Adam was looking for a bass player for a band he was trying to put together, so he bought me a bass guitar. A week later, I broke my ankle and couldn't walk, so I sat down with this bass guitar. I learned to play it. We started playing together, then we started looking for a singer, then I was writing for Adam, he was singing. And one day he looked at me and he said, "Matt, you're writing, you're the writer, you're the singer." And I said, "Adam, I can't sing." He said, "No, you can't sing at all, but you sound completely like yourself, and that's what we want." So that's how I became a musician and a singer.
Now, who would you? Now, you and I talked. You
nothing like my favorite band at all.
Well, who's your favorite band then? Who would you say is your favorite band?
My two favorite bands of all time are Led Zeppelin and Tool.
Oh, okay. Good bands.
Yeah.
Now, you and I talked before.
We don't have a damn thing like them.
No, you don't. And you and I talked before. You said a lot of people kind of compare you to the Chili Peppers and stuff with the style of music that you guys do and everything. And and I told you, I said, I was never a huge Chili Peppers fan, but I love coming out to see you guys play. And I saw the Chili Peppers live once, and they had a lot of energy too. So I guess I could see where that's reminiscent, but just in general, I guess maybe it is because of the approachability and whatnot that I would say that I'm more of a fan of Super Bob. I mean, we play it regularly in our car. It's always on either on Pandora. We pull it up on that, or we pull up a CD and throw that in, or whatever. So we're always playing Super Bob in ours. I mean, our 15-month-old likes the song Freak, so I don't, not sure how I'm going to take that with a 15-month-old liking that one, but she dances to it, so it's all good.
What won it over for me was being a trained dancer. When I hear music I like, it's kind of second nature to start dancing or choreographing in my head. And we were last week, setting up, and we had the music playing. We were doing our intros and stuff, and I just noticed in my peripheral vision, my head on the screen kept going up and down, and I was choreographing in my head, and that's how I emotionally connect with music is, how I could see a dance, forming from it or growing from the musicality or the lyrics.
Yeah, and we try not to write any music that you can't at least bob your head to.
Well, that's always good. I mean, like she said, if you can see people out there that are bobbing their heads or dancing a little bit, you're hitting them somehow. You're touching them somehow. So, as an artist, I guess whether it's music or photography or modeling or whatever, if people are reacting in a favorable we look for that approval, I guess, if you will, that vindication that what we're doing is the right thing because people enjoy what we're doing. So that's always, for me, that's always been my I guess my vindication. If somebody likes my work, then that's kind of like the pat on the back that we kind of look for.
Yeah, no, it's true. I at the same time, you like to be vindicated by people liking it, but I always kind of feel like when we write a song, if everybody I show loves it, I feel like it's a shitty song because it sounds like something they've heard before.
Oh.
So I want half and half. I want half the people to love it, and I want half the people to just despise the shit out of it. That's my happy place.
You want depth in their reactions.
Yes. I want no indifference. I don't want people to go, oh yeah, it's cool, it sounds like such and such. I want people to go, that is the best goddamn song I've ever heard. I want them to say, you're a piece of shit for writing that song.
No middle of the road, no wishy-washy shit for you. It's going to be you love it or hate it.
No, I like it. That's how I am. It's like an all or nothing, balls to the wall.
Yeah, that's the best place to be for me. Love it or hate it.
I mean, I'm a heavily tattooed ballet dancer. I can't do any traditional ballets, so I go out and do metal or rock music for my performances, which nobody else dances to. And it's always kind of I don't know how it's going to go or if someone's going to like it or hate it, but they're going to think something of it.
Yep. Nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
All right, so before we get going here, we want to make sure that I want to make sure I have this right. To check out Super Bob, you can find him on Facebook. It's facebook.com/SuperBobMusic, and you guys we can find you on Instagram again, Super Bob Music, and we can find you on YouTube. You guys do a lot of podcasts from when you're on the road and everything like that, which those are always funny. Some of your stuff when you guys have been on the road has been hysterical. So. People got to check that out. That makes it very personable too. So that's really awesome.
We try not to be boring.
No, certainly not. We want to thank you for joining us on the show today, Matt. Again, a pleasure and an honor to have you on the show. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys when you guys come into Central PA or wherever I'm at. If you happen to be in the general vicinity, I'll make an effort to be there. So. I appreciate that, and
thank you.
We'll talk music video too, because when you're in this area, we're gonna try and help you out with that, and come out and see you for that too. So, really appreciate that.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for having me on today. Hopefully, I didn't say anything too offensive.
Oh no, you're great. You did a great job. So, and our featured song this week was from you guys. It was called "Best Life." So we are going to make sure that we pump that up, and you'll be able to find that on our website and everything else. So, and again, we have your video, Great Big World, the new one that came out. That one's on our Facebook page and on our main website too. So we want everybody to have a great evening, and thanks again, Matt, for joining us. This is Mike and Kelsey.
No problem. Thank you.
You bet. This is Mike and Kelsey with the Twisted Hour. You guys have a great night. All right, this is Mike and Kelsey with the Twisted Hour. We want to thank our guests for being on the show this week.
We had Matt Santoro, lead singer of Super Bob, and Amanda LePore, Twisted Angel's alternative model. Stay tuned next week to see what we've got in store. This is the Twisted Hour, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, WBUZ95.com.
Yeah, once again, we want to thank Matt and Amanda for joining us today. A lot of fun. Very different with the music and whatnot, but that was really cool. And we got a little bit of insight from both of them on everything that they do. So, like Kelsey said, tune in next week, see who we got. Y'all get twisted.
My life is great, man. You need to understand. I piss excellence every morning. Ain't a thing. I'm like that crack rock that you know you can't stop, even though the cops are knocking down your door. Knock, 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 what you smoking? Spend up all your dollars with the dough, man. Don't wanna wait in a minute in the face. Got a cop and I don't wanna slow dance. I rack my brain, try to find a way that I can stay sane. And I gotta say that after some thought it dawned upon me that I'm the only one who wanna help me. You could call this a prophecy, an unsolicited positive speech. I've become an atrocity from all the negative thoughts I think. Don't know how it evolved in me, but the next thing all I knew was hate. I think I needed a lobotomy. This is the best that life's ever been. Like I got more dollars in pockets and I don't got no problems. This is the best that life's ever been. Like I got a broke job from God and everybody saw. This is the best that life's ever been. Like I'm on the cover of GQ, buck naked, fuck you. This is the best that life's ever been. This is the best that life's ever been. I got all that I need, man. Got more good days than I count, and I don't wait to make it happen. Live like a man on a mission. Got more friends and enemies, more bullets than I'd ever need. No fickle fucks are hanging on like parasites. I'm moving on. You could call this a prophecy, an unsolicited positive speech. I've become an atrocity from all the negative thoughts I think. I don't know how it evolved in me, but the next thing all I knew was hate. I think I needed a lobotomy.